Okay. We're here. Are you all set?
No.
Yep. Okay. It's just another beautiful day here with my sister-in-law, Brandy. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm here. I'm your host, Rebecca, for the podcast, the Reddit Randos. If you haven't gone to any of our other episodes yet, that is who we are. I have my co-host and guest, Brandy, here today on this beautiful day.
Hello.
She's just there.
I'm just here.
She's just here for the ride. So, I guess getting closer to summer. You have any summer plans?
No.
No. My kids are almost done with school, so I'm getting excited because then as it gets warmer, we get more water stuff out, and I love water stuff. Love getting the pool out and the sprinkler. Love working in the yard if I ever get to it because my house is such a mess. I can't keep up with either one.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I can't do everything. I ain't Octomom. Wish I was. Wish I had tons of arms to do everything. Seriously, when people ask about superpowers, I'm just going to be the weird one and be like, I wish I could do many things at once.
Well, don't we all?
I know, but for me, it's for boring stuff like getting the house clean and being able to cook stuff for my kids in time and be able to get stuff outside. And I'm just, I just want to have more time to get stuff done. I feel like I don't have enough time in the day to get anything done. And it drives me nuts. We had this whole weekend for Justin to get these 2 boxes, the deck box and another crate for outside. And I've been going on for having them for weekends and weekends for wanting to get done. So during the week, it's like, okay, we're not doing anything after I get off work. Let's do it. And he's like, let's just wait till the weekend. I'm like, okay. And then this morning, I'm like, the weekend has come. The weekend is here. The weekend's almost done. Mm-hmm. And you still haven't gone out to do those. I'm like, but you wanted to play Minecraft and play the Spellbound world and woohoo-hoo. And I gave in because I enjoy playing some Minecraft too with the kids. And I guess now my husband, now he'll want to play that more at night. He'll be like, you want to get on Minecraft? I'm like, sure. Was not expecting that. Now I like playing something with him, so it's fun. It's better than him always hearing him giggle and laugh with all his buddies online. He just acts so weird when he's online with his guy friends playing online. Acts such like a little giggly girl. Honestly, I look at him when he's playing and I'm like, why do you look so much happier here when you're playing with your... It's like the happiest I've ever seen you be when you're playing with your guys and when you're with your kids and me for the rest of the day. I just don't see that same smile when he gets on. His friends are special. Maybe a little too special. Honestly, I don't ever have to worry about a girl, I feel like, with him. I have to worry about his guys. Gets all giggly with them. Like, I don't even giggle that much with my girlfriends. Like, seriously. Unless I've been sipping on something too much. But honestly, that's like the only reason I'd be giggling for so much. Okay, sorry. Little rant there of how summer's going and then not. So, yeah. We're going to get things done when we can actually get to them. Or whenever we are motivated enough to do them. But I guess life can just get a little crazy. And that's kind of what we're going with for today's stories. Is just craziness. Don't know what the title is going to be yet. But these stories I just had to share because they're a little bit like smacked dab in the face. Like what is going on here? Like why? How could this ever happen? Things that you would never think would ever happen. At least in maybe a normal life. But what is a normal life? What is a normal life? Okay, please, if anyone knows what a normal life is, please tell me. I'm curious. Okay, for this first story, and I'm really hoping all these stories are still here, because I realized one of the stories that were really good were deleted already, and I'm like, dang it. But okay, this one is, Am I the A-hole? And this is from the subreddit AITAH, which is just another off subreddit for Am I the A-hole? But it is, am I the a-hole for laughing in my sister-in-law's face when she DNA tested my daughter? So I, 30 male, have a daughter who's 6. I am not biologically related to her at all. There is no blood relation between us. I was friends with her mother for most of all my childhood. We were never involved romantically, and we were always just friends. She had a daughter at 23 with her 25-year-old husband. When my daughter was a newborn, about 3 months old technically, both her mother and father were killed. I won't go ahead into too much detail for privacy reasons, but it was a workplace shooting. My friend and her husband had worked in the same building and were both killed. Both my friend and her husband had grown up with less than ideal families and didn't have any siblings, so there wasn't any next of kin for their daughter to go to. However, because I was close with them, I was able to adopt her, even though I had been iffy about the idea of kids. I didn't want their daughter to grow up in the foster care or around people who didn't have a connection to her bio parents, so I stepped in. My parents and siblings know that my daughter is not my actual daughter, biologically speaking. My daughter, I'll call Lily for the post, also knows that she's adopted. I never really hid the fact that she was adopted. She knows her parents are dead and were killed by a bad man, but I'm saving the details for when she's older. Lily does not look like me at all. She looks exactly like her mother and biological dad. Most people assume that I'm her bio dad and that she just took after her mom. I don't really ever correct this if people assume this because it just seems unnecessary. My brother has been with his fiance for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago, we were all meeting at my parents' house and my sister-in-law saw an old picture of me, my friend, and her husband. She pointed to my friend and asked who she was. I explained then that was Lily's mother. Sister-in-law got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while. I didn't think much of it. To clarify, she knows my friend died. I guess she didn't know that she had been married or that Lily is not my bio daughter. I suppose she assumed my daughter was mine and my friend's biological daughter. My sister-in-law got a DNA test done on my daughter behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when it came back that they weren't related, she knew that meant me and Lily weren't related. She came up to me with the results and waved them in my face, saying that I was taking care of a dead woman's affair baby. She said this to me in front of my daughter. I just stared at her for a while before bursting out laughing at this. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological daughter and that this thing called adoption exists. Her face went red and she stormed off. My brother is mad I embarrassed her fiance, but I said she embarrassed herself by DNA testing a kid that isn't hers and then parading the results up to me. What did she want me to do? What was her goal with this? Did she want me to break down and abandon my daughter? My brother said that she thought she was doing the right thing and called me an a-hole. I don't feel like the a-hole, especially considering my sister-in-law was the one who stuck her nose where it doesn't belong. I'm asking for Reddit opinions, mostly just for validation. So was I the a-hole?
No. I've heard that story before, yeah, no.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was about 8 months ago that this was done. Yeah,
I feel like there could be some type of lawsuit, too, to DNA a child that's not even
She took someone's DNA, a child's DNA, behind his back.
Right. And
went ahead and did a DNA test. Like, that sounds like either a sketchy detective.
Something there.
Well, honestly, I feel like the only people that could possibly do that would be like police and detectives and all that. If they but that's even then you need a warrant. Sorry.
Or a cause or something, and
someone has to be willing to.
She should have confronted the dad, been like, "Hey, do you know for sure if that's your biological?"
Why did they go to that far extent? That far just to prove if he was or wasn't. Mm-hmm. Why weren't they just a normal person and just asked them?
Or asked her husband, who was obviously
the brother.
She's obviously newer to the family because the daughter would have been adopted with her present. So she was obviously adopted first, and then the wife came in. So she should have just asked her husband.
If the dad's family or OP's family knew about it, then obviously his brother would have known about it, and he would have told the fiance. or the brother would have told his fiance, which this is just crazy. Like, what makes people think that they could just, like, go off and just take, do DNA test? That's just weird. That's from, like, level 0 to 100 right there. Level 0 to extreme. You went the extreme route of something that could have been so simple. He could have explained everything. And the thing is, I don't know. I feel like the brother, why wouldn't the brother explain this? Why did he go along with it?
Yeah.
Obviously, he went along with it.
Or why wasn't there some type of emotion then? Oh, you did the right thing.
Well, because the brother's like, oh, she thought she was doing the right thing. Did you not know she was doing this behind his back?
First of all, you got to pay for that.
Yeah. So obviously the brother knew. Did he know when she did it, or did he know the whole time?
Did he not know until she brought it up to him? And,
right. Like, it's
then you would have thought that, like, he would have been like, "Oh, you didn't need to do that. She's not biological."
Exactly. Why defend her so much?
He didn't even know until she confronted him in front of everybody.
Yeah, and he's just trying to be a good fiance and defend her.
Which I get. So, but still, there's a place. If my fiance did that to, like, your guys' kids, yeah. I would have been like, absolutely not.
Like, that is so wrong.
Yeah.
I would have been so pissed if Justin did that to any, like, if Justin was my fiance and he did that to any of my family relatives and their family, and, like, honestly, I'd be like, what gives you the right to do that?
And why didn't you just ask?
I would have totally rethought, like, if you're going to be okay doing that behind their backs, what are you going to be good with doing behind my back?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, so I would say, let's see, it says this was edited. Yeah, let's see. The first top comment was, not the a-hole. She wanted to stir some stuff up. That's a heck of a lot of effort to help. Also, I'd be pissed about how she got Lily's DNA to do this. It didn't go the way she thought it would, and so she got mad. Your brother is just trying to side with his wife, his soon-to-be wife, which obviously is what we've come up with. Someone under is like, also to be ticked, she revealed the truth in front of Lily. She deliberately tried to hurt a child.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, who thinks that's, like, if you did find something that was the truth and it was of a young child.
She wasn't a fair baby. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if she's old enough to comprehend.
She's 6 years old.
So
she's young enough that she's not going to understand things thoroughly, but she's old enough to understand that she's
you're not my real daddy.
She's not, yeah, they're not the real, yeah, so she understands that. So, come on, kids pick up on things very easily. You know, they understand things. It's so sad when they come and tell you something that they've heard or someone told them, and they, you know, they just want to be loved. So, yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah, a lot of things were just like, she didn't need to go jump straight into a DNA test. Her concerns could have been addressed simply by her quietly talking to the brother when she first saw that picture. So, there is an edit. I don't know if okay. So, update. So, update to the whole thing. Which doesn't seem like it was too much later. I want to see the account. Oh, there's 2 updates. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're all around the same time. Okay, I'll go to the first update. So, okay, my brother, so it's just TLDR, spoiler, my brother thought I was having an affair with Lily's mom and thought I was Lily's bio dad. He tricked sister-in-law into believing that I was in a relationship with Lily's mom and was Lily's bio dad. Sister-in-law then saw the picture of Lily's mom and her husband and assumed Lily was an affair child between the two of them and was being led on to believe that I was Lily's bio dad. My sister-in-law ended up coming to my house and apologizing as well as telling me the full story. My brother put her up to the DNA test. So it was the brother.
So obviously the brother could have...
The brother thought that the OP was having an affair with his friends, the wife, and they had a child together, and then whatever the friends or
that doesn't make any sense because he specifically said since childhood they've never been romantically involved.
Right. Wouldn't the person that would believe you the most of all your stories would be your actual brother?
Well, not to mention, if he never saw her and him in a romantic sense, why would you assume anything?
Yeah,
I would have thought he would have been like, oh, I got this girl pregnant or blah, blah, at least something to...
Yeah, because then he would be the biological dad.
Yeah.
And then...
I feel like there's a lot of stupidity
there. There is. Like, honestly, like, just not even common sense. It's just like, come on, guy. Like, I don't know. The brother just seems kind of stupid. And then to trick his sister-in-law into thinking this, all behind their backs, and then the sister-in-law was just like...
If it was me, I would have asked, like, my mom. Because Justin would have told, my mom if he had a kid, surprisingly, or whatever, So then I would have been like, hey, is so-and-so, and them, do they have a kid, or is it an affair? Like, I would have asked questions behind...
Quietly.
To confirm, and then had,
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't be sneakily saying all these accusations to my fiance behind
go to my
their
partner
back.
And be like, let's figure this out.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do a DNA test and literally put it in front of his face that this is. So wait a minute, so the brother thought he was having an affair with Lily's mom, and thought he was the bio dad, but the sister-in-law was. I'm so confused.
The one who confirmed he's
because
not
the first story said that she thought that
the baby was an affair baby.
Yeah.
With the other guy.
Yeah, she thought that the friend, the wife of the other guy, they were together in a relationship, and then that the daughter's actual dad was just a friend, and that was the affair. This just makes no sense.
Did it say that though, or?
Yeah, no, that's in the first story. So I'm gonna go back, guys. I'm sorry, we haven't even finished this first update, but this is just confusing. So the sister-in-law literally says that she saw an old picture of me, my friend, and her husband. She pointed to my friend, who asked who she was, and she explained that Lily's mother. She got really quiet. So then further down it says that...
She may not know that was the husband. So she
my brother said she thought she was... Oh, no. Yeah, no. She thought she was embarrassed and said she thought... Because she said, you're taking care of a dead woman's child.
Yeah, she knows it's her baby, but she doesn't know which man the baby belongs to.
Yeah, no,
so
she literally thought literally the thing is saying she thought that the mother of the daughter and OP were actually in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the guy in the other picture is the one who she had the affair with against.
Yeah, but the brother's thinking this whole time that he is the actual bio dad. So that doesn't line up the stories because no. So they just had a test to see if he actually was the bio dad?
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid. Stupid.
Well, the story's kind of stupid.
The whole time he knew. The whole time OP knew he wasn't the bio dad. So...
Obviously not,
Like, he literally said it. Why, if it was, like you said, why if it was his own child, would he then say otherwise? Because it was messy and that's how it looked like it was the other couple's child?
Well, he said he doesn't correct people necessarily because, it's not needed, but...
Right, well,
but he's not afraid to be like, oh, this is my, adopted daughter, if it's...
I know, you don't always have to explain that they're adopted and everything. Mm-hmm. It is technically his daughter now, through paperwork and everything, so, this is all so confusing and stupid. Sorry, guys, we're gonna go on to the story. So, my sister-in-law ended up coming to my house and apologizing, as well as telling me the full story. My brother put her up to the DNA test. When I first adopted Lily, my brother for some reason believed that Lily was my bio daughter. He thought that me and Lily's mom were together and just weren't telling anyone. He believes that when she got pregnant, Lily's mom told me that Lily was mine and that she was going to just say it was her husband's, and I went along with it because I didn't really want kids. Sister-in-law was under the impression I believed I was Lily's bio dad. Oh. She saw the picture of Lily's mom and I, and after asking for clarification on who she was, assumed we were together in it. and then got suspicious when she saw that the other guy in the picture, Lily's actual bio dad, looks a lot like Lily. I also want to clarify, I didn't tell her that Lily's bio dad was in the picture because she had specifically pointed to Lily's mom, and I assumed she knew that Lily was adopted. I didn't know my brother had been telling her her lies for nearly 2 years. She got the DNA test out of her own suspicions, and my brother helped her with it because he thought it would reveal that I was actually Lily's bio dad. He manipulated her into thinking that it would clear the air of suspicion, when really he was just trying to prove that I was really Lily's bio dad and lying about the reasons for adoption. Well, of course, the results proved I wasn't Lily's bio dad, and that my brother was wrong. My brother felt too embarrassed to confess to his fiancée that he had lied about the circumstances, which is why sister-in-law confronted me with the results. My sister-in-law also apologized for showing me the results in front of my daughter. She told me that her mom had an affair and cheated on her mother or father. I apologize for showing the results from and cheated on her father. Got pregnant with another man's kid and had let her father believe the kid was his. Her father was devastated by this when he found out, and she grew very resentful of women who do that to their spouses. She had wanted to sit me down and talk to me about it without my daughter, but when she saw me with my daughter, she got angry thinking I was being led on to believe I was raising my daughter when I actually was raising another man's kid, and she ended up exploding and immediately waved the results in my face. She might need therapy.
Well, so it doesn't really excuse that, but...
I was just like, she just exploded. Okay, hon, calm down. You might need to talk this out to someone. My sister-in-law does feel very guilty, and she's angry at my brother for lying to her. I'm not angry at her for doing the test because she thought she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she told me about the results, because clearly affairs are a sensitive subject for her, and I can understand why she would have exploded like that. I'm pretty sure she plans to break up with my brother now, and I don't blame her. When I called and asked my brother about this, he admitted it. When I asked why he would think this, he said that he couldn't think of a reason why a man would have been against having kids at the time and would willingly adopt a baby without having a blood connection to it. He told sister-in-law that I was Lily's bio dad and was aware of the fact. He took it a step further and said that me and Lily's mom were together at the time of Lily's conception. Both me and my parents are going low contact with my brother for a while now. I know I will forgive my brother eventually, but I can't do that right now. He believed I was low enough to have an affair with a married woman, get her pregnant, take no responsibility, allow her to pass off the kid as another man's, and then only take the responsibility because her mom died? Ugh. What is it? Someone says, both your brother and sister-in-law are getting off too lightly.
Yeah.
He butted into your family and lied to his wife. And sensitive issue or not, she still violated your daughter's privacy, then called her an affair child right in front of her. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
They did all this.
It doesn't matter. You don't, blood child or not, you don't talk like that in front of my child, to my child, regardless of your mental state.
Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, like this person said, they're getting off way too lightly.
I get because the child isn't, I wouldn't, like if Justin did that, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be annoyed,
right.
And I'd probably have my moment with him, but then I'd let it go.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't cut him off or anything. And
no,
I think they're both in the wrong, as the brother and his fiance are wrong together in what they did, and that should be addressed to them as a couple. But for each individually, they were both wrong to the father, I think, too.
Well, just the fact that they both thought it was better to go behind everyone's back to do a test. I mean, the brother was already lying so much to his fiance. So the fiance is now super mad, or sister-in-law is super mad at her husband, or their fiance, right? They're engaged.
I think so.
I think they're engaged, yeah.
You said breaking up, so you don't just break up with your husband.
No, and I would say he kept saying sister-in-law, so he didn't have to keep saying brother's fiance.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, I'd be mad too if my fiance was lying to me constantly about the new family that I was supposed to be joining in.
Mm-hmm.
Like how detesting are you? How much do you detest your family to be able to lie about things and try and come up with the truth?
And if he was lying, who cares? Let him lie.
I was gonna say, like, he'll come to you when he's ready, but honestly, what's it gonna do? He's taking care of someone else's child either way.
But as for also them breaking up, that makes no sense either, because they're both were wrong in this, and then they're going against each other now.
Yeah, they're just shifting the blame.
And so you're both in the wrong. You want to break up, that's fine, but don't blame it on.
They're both getting off too lightly because literally they're not understanding the point from all this. Literally, they're just mad at the other person because they're like, "Hey, you told me this, and you shouldn't have." But the sister-in-law was already starting.
The sister-in-law,
she was already wanting to do the DNA test.
The one who I would be most mad at. Because she's the one who initiated that DNA test. He just went along with it.
Right, but then he fed her so many lies, which also...
But it's not her business.
No, she did the action. But I'd be still scared about brother because it's like, hello, is that what you think?
Yeah.
Like, this whole time, that's what you think? You're around my daughter, being all nice and loving and caring. But then that's what you really think is that I had an affair with a married woman and had her baby. And the only reason why I'm only wanting the baby now is because... they died?
Yeah.
Like, I would be disgusted with my brother thinking that. Like, that's what you think of me? Yeah, no. So, I would definitely... what he's doing, low contact, probably for the best right now. Cool off. Everyone cool off. I'd still want to wait for an apology. Because it's like, you came up here trying to blow my family up. Between my relationship with my daughter and I. And what's that going to do? What good is that going to be? Like he said, like, what do you want me to do? Do you not want me to take care of her now?
Yeah.
Like, and the fiance, like you said, blowing that up in front of the daughter is a huge, huge thing to try and get over. Like, you just don't do that. What are you going to do that with other things you find out? You're just going to blow it in front of them. You're just looking for a reaction from people. You're looking to stir things up like that person said. Yeah. So, I'm going to go to update 2 because I'd like to know what happens next. Because I didn't know about this. So, update 2. Sister-in-law is now ex-sister-in-law. I don't know if multiple updates are allowed for the sub. If not, take it down. Blah, 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 blah. Some people were wondering what happened with my brother and sister-in-law. Well, she dumped him. They tried to make it work. But that only lasted a few days.
That makes sense.
Seriously, right? Day number 1. We'll try counseling. Day number 2. We couldn't get an appointment yet. Nah, we can't wait that long. Just like, what can you do in 2 days? Okay, so that only lasted a few days, and she ended up giving him the ring back. My brother got super face drunk. Yeah, let's just say super drunk on my front lawn in the middle of the night. I was pissed because Lily had school the next morning and he woke her up. My brother was yelling insults to both me and my daughter. We called the police and he spent the night in jail for drunken disturbance. I believe the official charge was something like that. I sure as heck pressed charges because he was saying some borderline threatening statements to me and my daughter. I don't think it's enough to qualify for a restraining order, but if it is, I'll get a temporary one. On a more positive note, Lily is doing well. She's getting straight A's in every subject, and she is excited about her first ever science project. She's been talking my ear off about it. Send help. LOL. That just sounds like a fun dad. Goodness, that brother's got some problems.
Well, I mean, in his sense, it's fresh. So I'm sure he's upset. He's going to take blame on the brother, whether or not it's valid, it's not. But
you did this to yourself, man.
His actions are understandable in the sense of why he did it, but not acceptable either.
No, that is just, first of all, they're just shifting blame on each other. Now ex-sister-in-law or fiance, literally just like, we can try this work. But then she's like, nope. And with the past that she's had, like, she's not going to want to deal with being a husband that's always lying to her. Like, he just straight up lied to her about everything about his own family.
Yeah.
If he's so, into, like, if he's okay with lying about his own family, like, honestly, it's just the deeper picture into this. So I don't blame her for dumping him. They honestly were just fire and fire. They couldn't, they just make problems, obviously, already. So they're probably better off not being together. But brother, yeah, he's got some issues. He needs to cool down, too.
Yeah.
And probably, yeah, he needs maybe a little bit of help. I don't know. I don't know what's going through his brain. That's just not normal. Huh. Sorry, putting that into my thing. Okay. We're going to go and move along to the next one. So this next one, this is another doozy one. Okay. This one was about literally just a month ago. And it was, if I can actually go to the right one, here we go. This is on the subreddit AITA WIBTA public. So am I the a-hole or would I be the a-hole? So this one is, am I the a-hole for freaking out on my boyfriend after he and his friends ate the cake I made for my friend's birthday? Yeah.
Depends on the story, I guess.
Yeah, you'll find out. Okay. So I, 19 female, have been with my boyfriend, 22 male, and let's call him Jonah, for 5 years. I've been with him for 5 years, and we have a 4-year-old daughter named Anna. He is a good dad. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, no, did you see the dates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the ages.
Yeah, ages and the years. Yeah, we'll get into that. So, he's a good dad. Don't get me wrong. He loves our kid, plays with her, and helps out when it's his turn for the most part. Whenever you hear, he's a good dad. Don't get me wrong. You know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got issues, but he's all right.
Right. He really is a caring and loving partner. Just the other times when he, pounds me, and
Beats me up.
beats me up or calls me slurs or honestly, this happens with every story. He's good for the most part. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, we're going to get you wrong. We're going to say everything that's wrong. Okay, sorry for being serious now. Let's go on. But sometimes it feels like he just does what he wants, and I'm the only one who actually has to be the responsible adult in this situation. Like, I don't care that he still hangs out with his friends. I do too. When I have the time and want him to have fun or whatever, but when they come over, they get way too rowdy. They'll be drinking, blasting music, smoking weed, but not cigarettes, but I still don't want that around my kid. And just being loud. I've told him a million times that's not the kind of energy I want our daughter around, and he just acts like I'm being uptight. So when I know he's having a chill night with them, I usually take Anna to my parents' house so she doesn't have to deal with it. This time, I was actually excited to get out of the house for another reason. My best friend's birthday, she's been talking about this specific cake for months. A chocolate cheesecake stuffed sheet cake, which, by the way, took me forever to get right. So we agreed I'd make it for her birthday. I was so happy how it turned out. Baking's one of the few things I get to in between taking care of Anna and online school, so I really am happy and proud about it when I get to it. Whether it's just for fun or for someone else. I spent hours making this cake. It was perfect. Before I left for my parents' house, I made it very, very clear to my boyfriend. Do not touch this cake. It's for friend's name. He kind of laughed and went, yeah, okay, babe, like I was being weird for even saying it. I come back the next morning, go to grab the cake, and half of it is gone. Like a whole side of it just destroyed. I did have the thought that maybe he would have cut himself a little piece, which would have still pissed me off, but whatever. But no, his friends got into it too. I asked him what the heck happened, and Jonah just shrugged and told me that they had the munchies, like that was some kind of valid excuse. I was so mad. I told him I spent hours on it, and it was literally my best friend's birthday cake, and that I had specifically told him not to touch it. And he had the audacity to go, babe, it's just some cake. Why are you acting like this? No. Okay. Like, I don't know. Maybe because I put so much effort into it and now I have nothing to bring my friend's party. He kept going on about how I was blowing crap out of proportion and how I could just make another one. As if I even had the time to do that and for it to be ready for the party. We kept arguing about it until he rolled his eyes at me and told me if I was going to act like this over cake, then I could stay with my parents. So yeah, he kicked me out. I barely had time to grab my things and our daughter because he was practically shooing me out the door to leave. Now I'm back at my parents' house, feeling so stupid for even being surprised. And, of course, now Jonah's texting me acting all confused like he never did anything. He's saying, I just needed space to cool down, and I didn't mean for you to actually leave. Seems pretty clear what you were doing. I felt pretty justified until my mom told me basically that I need to let things like this and not overreact so much over mistakes. My mom is usually right when she tells me things like this, so yeah. What do you guys think?
The cake part itself, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but from everything that she put in there, there's a lot more behind it than just the cake, and that's where her anger's coming from, is what I'm taking it as. Not just the cake, but it's his behavior that led up to that cake being destroyed. It's not just, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, or, you know, my friends got into it. There's more behind it than just the cake.
This doesn't feel
still understandable.
This doesn't feel like this has been a one-time deal happening.
Well, no, she's said specifically with their behavior, and for him to be in his young 20s still, I mean, he probably didn't have much of a teenage years if he was with a child, so he's probably living through that now too. And if she doesn't make him grow up in that sense, he's not gonna do it when she allows it.
Let's get into this. 19 and 22. 19, they have a 4-year-old. They've been together for 5 years. So they were dating when she was 14. And 14, probably shortly after that, she got pregnant because it takes 9 months. And within...
So 14...
They were probably together for a few months before she got pregnant with him.
Possibly.
And let's see, 5 years for him, for 22. That'd be like...
So he was 16, 17, she was 14, 15.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when she had the child, she was 15, basically. She was still in high school.
Yeah. And he was...
And so they were probably...
high school.
Yeah.
He was starting high school,
I was
because
gonna
14
say,
is 8th grade.
Probably freshman and senior there.
Yeah.
He was older, she was younger. She got pregnant. They've stayed together this whole time, but I'm sorry, with a relationship that young, I don't even probably encourage, even if you get pregnant, it depends on the situation, but to even stay together, like, you guys really need to know each other. They don't hardly know each other.
Encourage to stay together because, I mean, you built that child, and for the sake of the child, you need to work on it. But
I wondered if they were staying, like, at someone's, like, one of the parents' house while they were together and with the baby, or if she just took care of the baby the whole time at someone's house, and then they finally, now they're graduated, getting a place to live together.
Well, he was probably older where he could have gotten the place and she moved in with him.
They don't talk the backstory.
But, yeah,
about,
I guess it's not.
Yeah, they don't talk about this backstory about the whole relationship, how it, like, started and all that.
Her parents took it and his parents, and
yeah.
There's more, but
honestly, even if the ages weren't, like, this young, like, I don't know. With the ages being this young, there's already probably been so many problems with them being such young parents for both of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be maybe some resent in there because they had to take care of, had that extra responsibility at such a young age. So he just wants to chill out more and actually be, a young adult who gets to enjoy things. But she's definitely being more of the trying to be responsible and caretaker. And I think she wants to give him a break and say, hey, you can chill out. I don't care. But maybe try and be a little bit more, like, responsible around her daughter. To the point, like, with doing all these rowdy things. The cake itself, if I had put in a lot of effort on something, and I probably talked to my spouse so much about it, and they definitely knew how much hard work I put into it. I would definitely have some feelings about them eating the cake. Like, I would have been pretty mad. But this is probably something, like, this isn't something obviously to break up or get a divorce or something over. I honestly think this is the straw that broke the camel's back. They've had so many issues, probably have not talked about it like they should.
Well, yeah, it makes it seem like she's the one who's had the final straw, but whether or not she's informed him and, like, given him, like, ultimatums in the sense of, like, you need to grow up, or X, Y, and Z is going to happen, it doesn't seem like that has happened. So now he's, what did I do when this is a normal occurrence for him? So
yeah, no, obviously she probably has not spoken up for any of these issues. She's probably just let them, like, just pile up and die, kind of like scooched them off to the side. It's like, okay, you know what? We're going to let it go. Because, I knew he was going to act this in this way at some point. But I kind of just thought he would, for once be, actually listening to me and know that this was something important. But no, honestly, I don't think she's talking to him about these problems or these issues, these little situations that keep coming, and that she needs to really talk to him. He might not even be listening. We don't know the whole story on both sides.
Yeah.
She said he was shooing them out. She could have been blowing up, very erratic, all over the place. And he could have been like, if you're going to act like this. Right. And he could be like, if you're going to act like this, like crazy. We don't know how she was acting. She could have been all over the place with it and just screaming at him. And he's going to be like, if you're going to act like this, then you can get out.
It didn't say that he kicked her out. He said, go to your parents' house, which I feel like in any kind of couples argument, you'd like just be like, how about you go stay with a friend?
If you're gonna act like this over cake, then you could stay with your parents.
Yeah, like, go stay with your parents.
And then she's like, so yeah, he kicked me out. He didn't kick you out.
You may have taken it that way, especially in the heat of the moment.
I'm surprised though he let her take the daughter. If she was acting wild, like, we don't know how she was acting. That's the thing.
But the thing is based on everything that's been said, he's not going to want to keep the daughter.
No, he's not a caregiver. He's there as a babysitter. That's literally the role I'm getting. He's
probably glad that she took the daughter.
Probably. I'm getting I'm here to watch and play with her, and then boom, anything else you can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. We don't know. There's a lot of context we're not getting from this story. There's a lot of missing stuff. I already know though that Jonah is not probably the best guy. That's
not the most mature.
Not the most mature. There we go. Thank you. Not the most mature. Just not parent material right now, because he wants to have fun. And I get it, for being such a young age of being a parent, you definitely miss out on that stuff. But he needs to start growing up. He's got a child. If he's really going to want this child still in his life, which I figured he does if he's, living with his daughter, and he's taking care for the most part, or helping, as a loving parent, he needs to start acting like one more and get more involved. But I don't know. Okay, so the top comment is, not the a-hole, and you need to think about your future and your daughter's future as well. If you stay with him, then your daughter will grow up thinking that these things are normal, but it is not. Either start saving up money to go somewhere else, or give that little boy a chance, or a choice. Give that little boy a choice. Oh, the Jonah. That's so funny. Yeah. I don't, like you said, even if they got pregnant young and they stayed together this whole time. Mm-hmm. It's great that they got to stay out together for this whole time, but I want to know how this relationship happened. And then 5 years later, with this relationship, then this happens, and this is the hill that you're going to die on with this cake. So either so many things have happened that we're not hearing, and this is just the biggest issue that's brought everything out. Or the latest issue, should I say. So, guy underneath says he's 22, he's going to be an A, or a butt, for at least 10 or 15 to 15 more years. Does OP want to be with 3 children with this person? Get out of my house. I don't know why you left. I just needed space. That is funny that he's like, you can go to your parents' house. And then later, like, I didn't actually want you to leave.
Yeah.
Like, what did you want me to do? That's where I'm thinking there's, like, manipulation right there. Like, hey, you should go here. Well, I didn't want you to leave. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the bad guy here. You know?
So,
This relationship is toxic. For both of them. I feel like, I don't know, she's not communicating. So things are just coming out probably in spurts and being super just everywhere when she finally brings up an issue. He's being way low, chilled about everything, not caring a thing in the world. So basically, yeah, people were saying, like, they're all catching the ages, too. They're all doing the math in the comments, and so they're like, yeah, so many red flags, they're saying, with all this happening. Someone did say that, just chiming in, that OP's mom is very, very wrong for telling her to suck it up and go back. OP, stay away from him and do not have any more kids with him. You are setting your entire life up for failure if you go back. This guy...
I don't agree with that. Because mom's not necessarily in the wrong if she's only knowing about the cake part. If she's...
Right.
And the daughter may not be informing of everything else because of ages and because there's a child in the house.
Just because everyone else can see everything written out here doesn't mean the mom's getting the story either.
Exactly. I would understand as a mother if my daughter came to me and be like, well, you know, it is a cake. It's not, you know, it shouldn't be the end of your relationship. I think you need to, you know, work it out and then move on.
I do, yeah, that's the thing. They need to work it out. Whether that means they probably, at the young age they are, and the experience they've already had to go through before other people, even in their 30s, have even had to go through, I think they do need to have either some, I say this for everything, but, you know, it really does help, is therapy or counseling or some kind of, like, you know, just some kind of counseling, because you guys need to work together and remember why you guys are a couple and not just because you're connected by the child. And if it is only because you're connected with the child, then maybe grow from that and find purpose within each other.
That, or you don't just stay married because of a child.
You don't stay married because of a child. So honestly, I hate divorcing or breaking up. I don't even know if they're married, honestly. So if they are just together as boyfriend and girlfriend and they have this child together and this is what she pictures her life always going to be about, she's going to be dragged. Mm-hmm. She's going to be held back for the rest of her life.
More kids that get involved.
Yes, because honestly, he's doing the maybe very bare minimum of being this parent with just, you know, keeping her distracted or occupied for a time being until mother takes the rest of everything. But I will say, mom might not know everything, but I don't think you just need to let it go. No, don't let it go, but grow from it. You need to move forward and grow from it. Like, that's how you go from there. But that's the thing. We don't know the whole story, and I'm getting a suspicious feeling that there is definitely more going on that we're not hearing about, and it could be bad. Like, it just could be pretty toxic with this with this relationship. So that's from there. Here we go. There is an update that happened about a couple days later. So let's see. Hi again. It's been about 3 weeks. Oh no, sorry. It's been 3 weeks. So, hi again. It's been about 3 weeks since my original post, 21 days to be exact. Yeah, I've been counting. So yeah, a lot has happened since I posted. I didn't expect this many people to even read it, let alone support me the way y'all did. First off, thank you. Seriously. It made me realize I wasn't as crazy or over dramatic as some people kept trying to make me feel. Me and Anna are staying with my friend. She's been amazing helping with Anna, giving me a place to crash and making a part of her living room into a little area for online school. Oh yeah, I did want to, she had a very small edit at the end. She said, I left my mom's house and I'm staying at my friend's place with my daughter. I'm going to meet with a lawyer this Thursday for a free consultation. Thank you it was just an edit saying thank you for so much for helping me see or get into sense or something like that. So she did leave her mom's house to stay at a friend's house. I don't know if it's because she saw what people were saying that your mom's wrong. You shouldn't suck it up. You really should be careful. You should be seeing these red flags that your spouse or your partner's giving you.
Mm.
So, obviously, like we said, there's more to this story than we really know. Let's see. Me and Anna have been staying with a friend. She's been amazing, helping with Anna, giving me a place to crash, and making a part of her living room into a little place for my online school. I've been applying to part-time jobs, cafes, bakeries, whatever I can get into, and one place actually seemed really interested, so fingers crossed. Sadly, this crap just gets messier, though. A week ago, I found out Jonah's been cheating on me. One of his friends, who honestly always seemed more decent than the rest, DM'd me out of nowhere and basically said I deserve to know. Because Jonah was bragging about messing around with some girl he met at a party weeks ago. I didn't even have to ask for proof. He sent screenshots of their text and a photo of them together. Ooh, this guy is very just... Did he even want to hide it? I was still trying to process that when Jonah showed up at my friend's place. I didn't tell him to come. I hadn't answered any of his texts, and I definitely didn't say he could just roll up. I was outside with Anna on the porch, letting her ride her scooter for a bit while I kept an eye on her. He pulled up, got out of the car, already yelling, accusing me of trying to take his daughter away from him and trying to ruin his life. I told him to leave and kept my voice calm because Anna was right there. But he kept pushing it, getting louder and more aggressive. Oh, guys, trigger warning. I guess there's going to be some... I totally forgot. There's going to be a little bit of some abuse going on here or some physical violence. Okay, so he kept getting louder and more aggressive. I told him I knew about the cheating because his friends told me when he tried to go off about me not being loyal. That's when he lost it completely. He got in my face, called me a bunch of names I'm not repeating here, and then slapped me hard. I fell back, but managed to catch myself with my arms before I hit the steps. I didn't hit my head, but I landed weird and immediately felt the worst pain in my wrist. Then, while I was still on the ground, he spat on me, right in front of our daughter. Anna started crying and ran toward me. I grabbed her with my good arm and rushed inside. My friend was already calling the cops when I told her what happened. Jonah took off before they got there. I went to urgent care that night. My right wrist is fractured and in a brace now. The doctor said it should heal okay, but it still hurts like heck, and maybe it makes everything harder. School, job apps, parenting. I'm working with the lawyer I mentioned before and filing for a protective order. I am pressing charges. I never thought I'd be in this kind of situation, but I'm not letting it slide. Not when he did that in front of our kid. Anna hasn't been asking for him much, which honestly surprised me, but she's been sticking close to me and my friend. She asks questions sometimes, but not about, seeing him. More like, we're safe here, right? And yeah, it hurts my heart, but makes me feel like I'm doing something right. My mom still keeps saying stuff like, he's still her father, and warned me to not make things worse despite me telling her what happened. But I'm done listening to that. I tried to keep the peace. I stayed quiet for so long, but not anymore. My dad's been trying to stay neutral between us, but he's been checking in on me a lot and helping with rides and stuff. I can tell he's more on my side, even if he's trying to make it a thing, not make it a thing between him and my mom. Thanks again to everyone who helped me feel sane through this. I really needed that. I'll update again when something changes, hopefully for the better. And there's no update after that, so I'm hoping, with everything that just went down, I hope she gets custody of that child.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that kind of took... When I said that thing in the very beginning, I'd like to take that down, because when I said that, not pounding her, and I'm like, oh, when this just all happened. So, I didn't mean that seriously. Yeah, nope, that took a turn. Thoughts?
I mean, nothing more than what I've already said, but she's gotta do what she's gotta do as a mom and for herself.
From being a chill man to now slapping and spatting.
Again, there's still more that we don't know for behind his anger, because she didn't necessarily have the right to take the daughter just because of the attitude or the feelings that she had towards him. So in that sense, his anger was valid.
I wonder how long. Well, 3 weeks. 3 weeks is a long time to be around
and
away
that depends
from.
on even if he asked to see her, because she said he didn't respond. She didn't respond to any of his messages. Mm-hmm. So did he ask to see his daughter at least or anything? And then her ignoring it on purpose. Well, that's not exactly fair on his part. On his end, so.
I think, like we said, like she had no right to keep him, the daughter, away unless she already had a suspicion of possible violence going on. But honestly, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know the whole story. This is, I don't know if this is a shock to her that he did this more than to also us who just listening and reading these stories for the first time. So, yeah, no, here's the thing. They're both doing things not correctly, obviously. Obviously there's problems on his end where he's, doing all these actions she's not comfortable with. And, he told her to get out. Honestly, I don't know if that was like, we don't know. It's probably going to catch that. But then she goes off and just like leaves, takes the daughter, hasn't gone back, hasn't said anything, doesn't communicate again with the communication. Again, like if you know there's problems,
communicate, even if
like he said to get out, contact him back and say, hey, is there a way we can still go through this and talk this out, because we really need to work forward with this going, moving on. Now I don't know, so that's the thing. I get it, and people are going to be screaming at us for not being like, but he just slapped her, he just spat on her. Yeah, that's
now.
That happened now, and we don't know if that's ever happened before, and this just took a, boom, he's angry, he's lashing out, and yes, that is wrong. He should not have done that, because now he will never see that child for a very long time because of his actions. But her taking the child away for 3 weeks and not communicating with him, it probably has built up in him for a while, and I'm not saying this is an excuse for him to act like that. No way is that good. But they are both not correctly going forward with this and being, what is it? They're just being, what is it? When they the co-parenting part, just civil. Thank you. They're just not being civil about this. If they're not going to work together as a partner, as partners, then yes, that's fine. Move on from that. But you have a child together. Do what's right for the child. Make sure that you both have visitations and get to spend time with them. I gotta break those cats apart. I see what you're doing. Like, my 2 cats are hissing and playing in the back, so they're trapped in the room with us. Okay, hold on.
Get away from me.
I know, I need to probably open the door so they can run away, because they're just gonna keep doing this in here. Oh, this is what my whole work week life is like. When my kids aren't here, then they just start rustling around.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot that happened in there. If you have anything else to say it now or hold your peace. Okay, we're going on. Messy situations. Crazy, not normal. Woo! Okay. Okay. So this one, this is a subreddit r/legal advice. I'm surprised I even saw this one. This was 5 days ago. So, is there a way that I can legally stop my father-in-law from putting explicit paintings that depict me on an art show and/or destroy those paintings?
No.
So, these people are located in Alabama.
Of course they are.
I didn't even think about that. That's funny. Okay, so here is a summary if you don't want to read the full backstory, but still provide a quick legal advice. Okay, we're going to move on to the full background because we want to get into the juicy details. Or not so juicy. I don't know. Okay, never mind. We're just going to move on. Okay, full background. So a while ago, my 24 female father-in-law, 60 male, asked me if he can use me as an inspiration for a series of paintings he's been working on. He said it was about on goddess of beauty, Aphrodite, and he said it'll be an honor to get inspiration from me because he thinks I'm beautiful. I was flattered, and I told him as long as it's artful and not like a portrait, it was fine. Because at the time, I was mainly worried, and I felt embarrassed to be a portrait like the goddess of beauty. And he promised me it would be artistic and I'd have nothing to worry about. So I forgot about it for a while. But about a week ago, he invited me and my husband, 30 male, to his place saying the paintings were done. So we went there and the paintings were very accurate and explicit depictions of me naked. And it wasn't just inspiration, but accurate down to not just my face and how I look, but details of my body looked like even on how my private parts look. I have a mole I have on my bottom and more. So he had down to the very mole on her butt.
Well,
I know, that's pretty detailed. Apparently, my husband was in it too, and he consulted his father in the process so that they can be as accurate or perfect they can be.
Oh, then she can't be mad at him.
No, he can't be just at the father-in-law. So, and he thought this was a grand romantic gesture.
Not to mention, it's based on Aphrodite. Do you not know who Aphrodite is?
Yeah. So, I mean, in one way I'd be flattered. Another way I'd be like, my father-in-law just literally painted my boobies and my butt and
my mole.
And my mole. I feel like what is it? Well, here she'll go on saying so. I felt so embarrassed and violated. That's what I was gonna say. I feel so violated. So I felt so embarrassed and violated. So I started freaking out, and they acted confused on why I'm angry when he chose me as the symbol of beauty, and they thought I'd be flattered, honored, moved, and all. Oh, she was moved, that's for sure. Okay, then he said he submitted the series to a pretty big regional art show and got selected to put his paintings on it. I freaked out more and told him that he can't do that, but he was saying it was a pretty big deal for him, and he thought that it would be a nice surprise for me and I should be honored too. Oh, this keeps getting worse. It's just going out in public. I don't know. If someone drew you and made you look super beautiful naked and everything, would you be flattered and be okay with it going out for public?
I probably wouldn't make a big deal about it, no.
Maybe if you get a portion of the money.
Well, if I had a problem with it, then maybe if it was like my face, and depending on like the town.
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah, but like, you know, if it was like Norwalk, people would probably know me. If it was like, you know, a bigger city, where people, I'm not popular at, and I'd be like, I don't really care. But
I don't know.
There's more in your hometown. I probably wouldn't, or I would have been like, is there any way that you can remove some details in my face to make it not look like me? Or
right.
But I don't think I'd throw a big old deal about it, no.
I don't know. The way she's making it look is that it's pretty depicting on her. It looks like her. Well, people would recognize it as her.
It was based on Aphrodite. That was the whole point of it.
He was using her as an inspiration for Aphrodite. The thing is, how is he getting these details? Obviously, it's from the husband because the husband was in on it. Down to the very mole.
You can look at a woman and kind of figure out the shape of her.
So right.
Also depending on
how does she dress. Think about it. If you have a father-in-law in the future and you knew he was drawing literally every part of you.
Well, he asked about it. If he just did it because he's a weirdo, then no.
I know. I think
if he asked about it,
if she was worried about it being like a portrait, exactly how he did, basically.
Well, she should have done more research on that than like, well, what's
she should have been more specific,
Who's
saying,
keeping these
please do not draw me like I'm a portrait, like exactly who I am. Draw me as an inspiration, like Picasso, basically. What do they say? Like they inspired me to be very, I don't know, art. I don't, I get
the weirdness coming from because it is the father-in-law, but she could have prevented it by asking more questions or requesting less detail. But
yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal.
So I tried talking to my husband, but he was more supportive of his father, saying his father gave up on art when he was young to support his family, and he's finally pursuing his dream. And it is a big deal for him to be selected for that kind of show, and he doesn't see a problem with it because it's just art when they are very sexual and degrading depictions of me. Maybe this will help you to understand why I'm freaking out to this level. The paintings are not like those classical paintings with artistic nudes, but most of them have me spreading my legs or bottom in very sexual manners. See, I'm thinking like the goddess ones where they're kind of like wrapped up in...
they're just kind of posed or whatever.
And they have some loincloths around them, but some of them show like a nipple here and there, and or they're all nude, but they show like the back mainly, and they show a butt. You know, sometimes a butt's not too bad.
Yeah.
But when they're showing with the legs spreading apart...
Depending on his art style, because there's a lot of art styles where you show every detail of all anatomy. So
yeah, but they usually have their legs closed.
not always, especially.
I don't know what nude
Greek
arts
art.
you're looking at, because most Greek nudes I've seen, like in the historical museums or something, they're not as explicit.
A lot of them have show detail.
Well, the guys always have like their willies out, but they're not always showing.
Well, what's the difference between that and a woman's vagina?
They usually, the women they're very slim and slender. Not even slim and slender. I'm not saying that. I'm saying their poses are very silhouette like. They're very like, you have the waist and the legs are kind of closed, so then they're kind of like more of a silhouette pose to it, or they look very graceful and everything. I don't know of a graceful pose with their legs wide open, so that's,
I don't know that, but
I don't know that either.
I don't know all the art he's doing, but
I'm sorry, but most of them have me spreading my legs or bottom in very sexual manners does not sound very good.
I think I'd be just maybe a little bit... I wouldn't be mad. I'd probably be a little bit more embarrassed, but...
Well, again, that's what she's saying. She sounds... I'd be kind of violated, too, I feel like. You know, if they were like the Greek nudes, where they were very showing a little bit angle here and there of some areas, explicit areas, you know, I don't think
especially if he didn't ask, like...
Yeah, why didn't she show... Why didn't they show these paintings before he sent them out? Like...
Unless he got the confirmation from the husband, and the husband was like, yeah, send those out. She'll be fine with it.
Yeah, then see, she should have... she should have... It was... No offense, OP, but it wasn't your fault knowing that you didn't know this was going to happen, but you should have been more on top of them to not show anyone until you got to see them first and okay them.
Yeah.
Or he should have shown examples of how he wanted to portray you. Like, hey, what is it you're wanting to, like, pose me as? You know, that would have been really awkward to hear from him. I'm going to pose you
right there in that chair and just...
and these legs are going to go bloop, wide open. Show all that beautiful stuff there. Okay. Anyways, I demanded to pull out from the show and destroy all the paintings, but my father-in-law keeps saying he won't have time to repaint, and he doesn't know if the committee will even take repainted work. So he says he will see if they'll accept partial repaint and tweak my face a little, but I'll have to leave most of the paintings the same, my hair color, body, and all. That's okay, as long as you can
tweak
if
your
you can
face,
change the face so it doesn't look like her, please. Oh my word. Yeah. Anyone, you know how the coincidence of having one person you know go to that same place for the art show, and they're going to be like, isn't that Molly?
Isn't that you, Rachel?
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that you? Like, that really looks like her. That's so weird. Okay, and then they see that it was painted by not your husband, but your husband's dad. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I get
They'll be like, oh, well, we are in Alabama.
That is true. I don't get how could they ever think that this was appropriate or that I'd be honored to or find this romantic. And it is really hard to convince him when my husband is on the same boat as his father. So it has been really hard to get him to stop. So now I'm looking to see if there are any other legal ways, and help would be appreciated. Thank you.
There's no legal ways because there's no contract or binding.
A lot of people are commenting, contact the art show. Like they're saying, tell them that your likeness is being used without your consent in a sexual explicit way. I don't know if the art can even do that because you're not the painter.
Lots of people can have dark hair, light hair, fuller chested, moles and bumps and everything. No. I feel like that wouldn't be...
I'm so sorry,
looks
girl.
Like me and I don't like it.
Just don't ever attend the art show and stay away, very far away from anyone around that area. Yeah, literally hop on a plane and go somewhere for at least a week or so.
People will forget about it.
I'm sorry, if I ever, like, left because of this and then someone sends me a picture, literally, of the art saying, is this you? I'd just be like, nope.
That's the neighbor.
Yep. That's the neighbor's body, but that might be my face.
That's my cousin.
Yeah.
On my mom's side.
Yeah, just put them down. Yeah. Oh, my word. Honestly, I was getting okay with the fact that he was using her as... Because an artist, I will say, an artist will not see nudity as...
and a true artist,
will not see it in a sexual way. They'll see it in a very artistic, beautiful, portrait of how we want to, like, look at ourselves and see the beauty of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is very deeper levels with an artist on these type of things. You know, she did say not a portrait, which he probably would excuse the fact that, well, I'm showing off the body and I'm getting inspiration from you.
But a portrait's just the face. She said not just the face. So
what's a full body portrait? It would be known usually then. That's a face portrait. There's a full body portrait.
Well, when you think of a portrait, it's just this.
Then what's the full body? Is it a full body
I don't
canvas?
know the details, but
okay.
Depending on, I don't know his type of art style either, so.
No, let's see. Okay, yeah, no. Let's see. A portrait can be full body. So, yeah, a portrait is literally just either the face or the actual full body of the person. So, he really should have, or she should have, gone into more detail on what she did want or didn't want. And then she should have been like, do not. I don't know if she was expecting this to be sent out to anyone. I don't know. This is something you never know. Like, you don't know how to talk to your father-in-law and then until something like this happens. Except this is pretty extreme. You know, usually it's like if they want to borrow your lawnmower or something. But no, this is to paint a nude picture of you, basically. And very explicit, you know, like I was kind of being like okay with the part where it could be like more of like a Greek goddess pose, or you see some of those where they are very beautiful, where they have them portrayed as. But in this case, this was a very explicit.
Yeah, but it wasn't also just his doing. The husband was very much involved too.
I would get mad at the husband.
There's that too, because
how is this a romantic gesture?
Well, I don't...
Well, okay, I should...
Unless he thought that those paintings were going to go to him, and I can understand that perspective, like...
But now he's defending the father-in-law, saying he never got to do or pursue his dreams in painting because he had to take care of the family, so I'm okay with him sending out and showing the whole public my wife's vagina. That's literally what it is. I'm sorry. And for him to think how this could be romantic, he is a guy, and I'm sorry, guys' romantic gestures are definitely not the same as women's. This is definitely a guy thinking this. So for all of you thinking like, how could he do this? Well, he's a guy. And a guy, you have no understanding or reasoning why behind things sometimes for them. They just act. They just do it. And for a woman, we're like 10 steps already ahead thinking what they would or wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was crazy. Crazy. So, sorry, I do not have any legal advice because I am not a lawyer. I would not know what to do in this situation, especially involved with family. I don't know. Would it be weirder would it be weirder if someone on her side of the family painted this? A man on her side of the family? Or is it weird, just as weird for the father-in-law to do this?
I don't think she's coming from the father-in-law. I think it's coming from the type of art it is. Because, I mean...
It's not like it's a pervy way. That's the thing. He's not being a perv.
And the thing is
maybe
the husband
painting
again
this
comes
explicit is a little strange.
If the husband wasn't involved and he showed those things, then I'd be questioning where his mindset is. Mm-hmm. But since he said the husband approved it or gave him more description, then it's like, okay, so it's not just the dad. It's my husband. And what are you doing? Like, where did you think this was okay?
Here's a hot take. I wonder if the husband ever showed nude pics of his wife to get the better image for his father-in-law to paint.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
If the husband's all in on it, he might not have a problem showing them. I'm sorry. Now we're getting into the part where it's like, husband, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Just saying all these things or showing all these things to your father. But... I don't know. I caught that, and I found out it was legal advice, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is juicy for legal advice. This is weird. Not normal.
Not normal.
Not normal. Okay. So from there, I think we're gonna go with one more. What am I gonna do? I had two more. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do... I'm going to give you a choice. So, I'm going to give you a choice between... Here we go. There's the title. Am I the jerk for not letting my friend bring her dog to stay at my house while she visits? Or... Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she made her choice when she chose to keep seeing my husband's ex?
What?
Okay. So the second one was, am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she made her choice when she chose to keep seeing my husband's ex? Or am I the jerk for not letting my friend bring her dog to stay at my house while she visits?
Those both sound dumb. We'll do the first one.
So which one, the ex or the dog?
The dog.
The dog, okay.
The ex, yeah, I don't care.
They're both kind of crazy, but yeah, okay, we'll go with that one. So, am I the jerk for not letting my friend bring her dog stay at my house while she visits? I'm 32, and I live in a quiet suburb with my partner and our 2 cats. We have a small house with a fenced backyard and a guest room, and we actually enjoy having people over from time to time. I work from home as a freelance writer, so I spend a lot of time in my space, and I'm kind of protective of my routine. My old college friend, Kayla, recently texted to say she'd be in town for a week and wanted to hang out. I was genuinely excited. It's been years since we've each seen each other, but then she added that she's bringing her dog, Maple, a 90-pound golden retriever, and she hoped it would be cool to stay at my house instead of paying for a hotel or Airbnb. Her message was something like, "You have a yard. It'll be perfect." Here's when it gets complicated. I like dogs, but my cats absolutely do not. One of them is elderly and on medication, and both have had bad experiences with dogs before. The last time a friend brought a dog over for literally an hour, my older cat went into hiding for 2 days and stopped eating. It was a mess. On top of that, my partner has a mild dog allergy. It's not life-threatening, but after a couple of hours of exposure, he gets congested, itchy, and generally miserable. Hosting a dog for an entire week inside our house just isn't something we can comfortably do. So I explained all this to Kayla as kindly as I could. I told her I'd love to spend time with her, take her out for a brunch, maybe go for a walk or have a day together somewhere dog-friendly. I even helped her look for a few pet-friendly Airbnbs nearby and offered to help cover the first night or 2 if cost was a problem. She didn't take it well. She said I was being rigid and dramatic and that it's just a dog. Then she said that she thought I'd be more understanding and implied that I was choosing my pets over people. Since then, she's basically ghosted me. A couple of mutual friends think I did the right thing, but others say I could have just made it work for a few days and it's not that big of a deal. Now I feel torn. I honestly don't think I was being unreasonable, but part of me wonders if I should have just sucked it up for the sake of the friendship. So, am I a jerk?
It's not that much of a friendship if you haven't spoken for years or whatnot. And also, no. If your animals in your household, partner or husband or whatever, gets allergies, then that's well acquainted. I wouldn't want a dog to come to my house for a week with my cats.
I couldn't even do it with my cats. My cats don't like other animals.
I think that's reasonable to, and unless it's like you're gonna leave your dog outside the whole week.
Yeah.
Then we'll think about it.
Plus, the partner has an allergy.
Gonna do that, so no, you're not bringing your dog inside. And my cats are terrified of dogs or whatever reasons.
If the cats both have had bad experiences with dogs, and you're just like, no, we can't go through that again. That was a mess. She didn't eat. She wasn't out for 2 days. And then the partner also has a mild allergic reaction to dogs, which, I'm sorry, even if it's not that bad, you don't want to put them at risk for that. If it's, you already have now 2 big reasons.
And she can put her animals before any other person because they're her animals.
That's her animals. Yeah, putting pets before people. Well, you're putting your pet
before her partner
being
and
comfortable.
Her animals.
Yes, you're putting her pet before her comfortability or her comfortableness and her willingness to do it.
You're
so
wanting her to put your dog before her partner and her own household. So
no, honestly, if I do have a friend, she lives in Wisconsin. She was my old roommate back in my first year of college, and love her, and I want to go see her sometime. But I could never be like, if I was bringing my cats, or just even myself with no cats, I could never just go there and then just crash over and be like, hey, can I stay here, by the way? Like, no. I don't think I could feel comfortable by just saying to that person that I haven't seen for years, just be like, I'm going to crash over to their place. It'd be perfect. You have an extra bedroom. Why aren't...
It's only a week.
I was just saying, like, you have an extra bedroom. What's the big deal? No. I'm sorry. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. If they ever offered, fine. But they didn't offer. You literally just asked saying it was going to happen.
It's one thing to be like, hey, is it okay if I bring my dog? Like, does that work for you? And then she offered to help pay for a night or two at Airbnb. So, I mean, you could have made something work.
I mean, she was trying to keep the peace in the best way possible by, like, offering, saying, hey, I found some places. I'm going to help you research. I found the place. I'll even help pay for a night or two if it's not something you can do. And the friend chose to be like, you're choosing pets over people.
Yeah,
like,
well, they're my pets.
Yeah, exactly, right? They're like,
if I wanted people, I'd have little kids.
They're more a family than you'll ever be. Just like, that is just stupid. But top comment is, isn't she choosing her pet over your partner's health and the health and stress of your pets? She needs to get a grip. So, well, then another person just commented saying, it's just a dog.
Leave it outside.
If she really feels that way, I feel sorry for the dog. Yeah, if it was just a dog, she'd leave it at home. What OP is doing is choosing her pets over her friend's pet. Nothing more. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, everything's basically saying the same thing. But we have an update on it. So this was originally 9 days ago, the first post. The update was 4 days ago. So, update to my last post. After Kayla ghosted me, I figured that was that. I sent her one more message just saying I was still happy to see her if she was up for it, and that I hoped she understood I wasn't trying to be mean or anything, just realistic. I didn't hear anything back though. Then, like 3 days into the week, she said she'd be in town, and I get a text completely out of the blue. I'm outside, hope the cats can deal with it for one night. I literally froze. Before I could even answer, she's knocking at the door with her suitcase and Maple, her dog. I opened it to talk, and she just then walked in. Maple ran straight into the house, barking, and my older cat just bolted upstairs in a full panic mode. Total chaos. I told her kind of frantically, honestly, that this wasn't okay, and she needed to take Maple outside so we could talk. She just exploded, said I was being ridiculous and cold, that my house isn't a temple for cats, her words.
It's my house.
And that I clearly value animals more than people. What?
The entitlement.
The entitlement. I told her again, as calmly as I could manage, that she needed to leave. That's when she snapped. She hasn't snapped yet? She seems like she snapped already. She knocked over this little bookshelf I keep in the living room, plants, books, everything flying. Then she grabbed a coffee mug off the side table and smashed it on the floor. This is the first time I'm hearing this, so this is crazy. For context, it was one of the last things my partner had from his grandma. He was right there watching it all happen.
I would have called the cops.
We ended up calling the cops. She stormed out before they got there, dragging Maple behind her, and I gave them her name and everything. We filed a police report, and I've started a small claims case for the damages. Between the broken stuff, an emergency vet trip for my cat, because he stopped eating again from stress, and an urgent care visit for my partner's allergies flaring up really badly, it was just a lot. A few friends who originally said I was being too rigid have since changed their minds after hearing what went down. Others are still like, that's just how Kayla is. Oh my word. Which is honestly insane to me. Like, how is that even remotely okay behavior?
Yeah, who taught her that?
Oh my word. Anyway, I'm done feeling guilty. I tried to be understanding. I set a boundary and even offered alternatives. I was not mean, and she turned around and completely disrespected me, my home, and the people and animals I care about. That's it. That took a turn.
She has more patience than I do, because I would have beat her.
She just came in and smash.
Not to mention, it's a golden retriever. Golden retrievers are one of the most hyper dogs
they are a hyper
you'll find,
dog.
And they need attention.
There could be some calm ones. They're usually older, though.
Well, yeah, all dogs are more calm when they're old, but as a golden retrievers will go up and befriend anything and not know that they're causing problems. So,
wow, the audacity of that one. that person. She's just like, you just think, this is not a temple for cats. That's my favorite one.
It is a temple.
That is my favorite one. This is not a temple for cats. And I'm like,
it's my house.
Her words. I'm going to take that now. I'm going to say, this is my temple for cats and children. Yeah. My house is a temple for cats
cannot
and
enter.
Kids. Yeah, right? Enter at your own risk.
Literally.
Oh my gosh, that was nuts. That was crazy. I would not ever be friends with that person.
That would be the end of that.
And for her to be like, I'm, hope they're happy for one night. It's only going to be one night,
And then to throw a physical tantrum.
Yes.
What was the point of that?
Like, oh my word, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for the dog that is with this person because, this person. Well, honestly, no, she probably treats her dog like
her baby.
Like her baby. Sometimes, the people that are the most obsessive about things and crazy against people are, the best with pets because they treat them like an actual
family, yeah.
Family and humans, and, they treat them better than people. So, I love people with pets, but, yeah, sometimes I've worked at a vet clinic for 3.5 years, and there are some people who literally treat their pets like they are this little fragile baby. Mm-hmm. And they'll do everything, which you should. You should do a lot for your animals and your pets because, they're a living being, they're a living thing, and taking care of them. They're so caring and compassionate when you treat them well. Sometimes, I don't know, some my cats are very loving, but your cats just freak out.
My cats are big babies.
They're socially...
Well, one of them's a big baby. The other one's just...
They need to socialize more with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. If only they were closer, I'd have them have little play dates with my cats.
Well, your kids don't like my cats.
My kids, okay.
Kittens.
I will say they were they were good as kittens, but they got a little grouchy later. My cats are used to being, around crazy kids. Well, one of them is. He literally couldn't care less if he was dragged around. by one.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, figured I'd end that animal one with you. So I was glad you chose that one because I don't think Justin would have the same reaction. I don't know. He might have with that last part. But him and animals, he like literally thinks the way you talk to him, it doesn't sound like he cares for animals, but he does.
Yeah.
He's a big softy. Talks about his dogs growing up, and he says he doesn't like our cats, but I catch him every once in a while holding them.
That's what they all say.
I know, they're just a big softy.
I didn't want this kitten.
They don't, I know. He didn't want those cats. It was all on me, but I think he enjoys them. So, just poking at one. Oh, she wants you to cuddle with her now. Or play with you.
Or bite me.
Bite your hand. Okay, before we get I'm getting tired. It's a Sunday afternoon and I am needing a nap. So, but I gotta edit this afterwards, so I've got a long day ahead of me still. And then we have work all this week. I still work, guys. I still work a 40-hour job. So does Brandy. We're tired. This is tiring. We're doing extra work on top of that. Plus, I have 3 kids to keep up with. My babysitter's gone this whole week because she's on a trip with my dad, which I love that she's out going on trips with my dad. But I will have my kids all week with me while I'm working. It'll be so much fun. I gotta clean the house for it to get all dirty again. Hey, a clean house makes you feel organized in a way. Maybe it just helps my ADHD brain just be like a little bit happier. You know? So, okay guys, we're gonna end it there. Brandy's getting way too distracted by my cats, so, and that last story with it too. Now she's playing with the kitties. Making this a justified kitty story. Justice for the cats.
Cats are fun.
So you guys can catch us on all streaming podcast apps and like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and a lot of other popular ones out there. If you guys ever want to email or message us, you can email us at the Reddit Randos at the Reddit Randos at gmail.com. There's also a link on most of those podcasts, a little link you can click on where you can send us any messages through the editing source I go through, so I can literally directly message you back from that. But yeah, stories. If you have a crazy story, I'd love to read about it. Love to know about your life and get to know you and tell your story if you're okay with that. Otherwise, questions, comments, anything, let us know. But on that note,
bye.
Bye-bye.